What up, though? It's your girl, She's Too Quiet, and welcome back to the She's Too Quiet podcast. This podcast is for the ones who've been overlooked, underestimated, or simply too quiet for the noise of this world. I'm Tania, a fellow introvert and woman of faith, inviting you to find strength in stillness, clarity and solitude, and purpose in your quiet voice. Every episode, you'll hear reflections, devotions, and quiet confessions that remind you you don't have to be loud to be powerful. And if you're listening, you're already a part of the Quiet Power Club, a space where we celebrate gentle strength and the God who meets us in our silence. Let's get into it. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. It is officially the end of the week if you're listening to this on a Friday. It has been an interesting couple of months, but to God be the glory. He is carrying us through. So, I do want to talk about quiet leadership. So, this episode is called The Confessions of a Quiet Leader. So, me myself, I have journeyed into the area of developing my leadership style or my leadership skills. The city that I'm in right now, they have a program called the Citizens Leadership Academy. So, basically, this program is open to those who live in the city, and what they are trying to do is give you more information about the city that you live in. I'm telling you, I've been doing this for about, I would say, 4 or 5 weeks now, and it is very interesting. I never knew how much thought goes into city development and how much thought goes into what services your city has for its people. And so I really learned a lot. It definitely gives you a sense of pride in where you live, and it makes you want to be a part of something bigger than yourself. I know sometimes as a quiet person, and even if you're living sort of a quiet life, you may wonder, what can I get involved in? What can I do? How can I make an impact in this world? And it all starts with, what are you willing to do? What are you willing to find out about? What are you willing to get involved in? What are you willing to give to those who need you? I found it interesting to learn about what's coming to the area in the future. Yeah, it's just been a great experience all in all. This is your sign, if you haven't had one already, to get involved in your community. I do have a quiet confession for you today, and my quiet confession is, I never wanted the spotlight, but I still lead. Have you ever noticed how some of the strongest leaders don't have to say much? They just show up. They're consistent, they're dependable, and steady. And somehow that speaks louder than words. Quiet leadership doesn't look like you're the loudest in the room or you're the one giving big speeches. You're normally the one that meets deadlines, you stay calm when things get messy, and you bring peace to uneasy spaces. It's crazy because before you know it, people actually will start following your lead, and you wouldn't tell them to do that. As quiet people, we're not like, hey, follow me. We're more in the shadows and stuff, but it's so fascinating to see that they'll really start following you because they saw how you carried yourself. Now, in my opinion, that's influence. That's leadership without loudness. Quiet leadership doesn't demand attention, it naturally earns respect. So whether you're a introvert or extrovert, I have a nugget for you involving leadership. This is just something to keep in your back pocket as you begin to foster these work groups, whether it's in your church, in your community, in your family, at work. This is a nugget you can definitely put in your back pocket. The nugget is, leadership isn't always about taking charge. Sometimes it's about setting a rhythm others can follow. I know sometimes leaders can be very, how do I say this? They can be very intimidating. They can command the room. They are very dominant, per se. But there are some quiet leaders out there that necessarily don't operate like that. And I believe today, in today's society and world, we're moving more towards quiet leadership. When you think of like remote work, and when you think about all of the sensitivities the world has right now, I think quiet leadership can be very impactful. Today, I just want to share with you a few quiet leaders that I found. Hopefully, you can think about these people, look into their lives, and soak up a few attributes that can help you as you begin to maybe dabble in a little quiet leadership. Now, for those people who are already in leadership positions already, think about maybe switching your style up in certain instances, right? One of our strengths as quiet people are being good listeners. We're very introspective. We ask people's opinions and things like that. So, quiet leadership deals a lot with recognizing what most leaders don't see because they feel like they're, some leaders feel like they're the top of the totem pole, right? Not taking into account that everyone below me has a big part to play in the success of whatever we're doing. So let me just introduce a few quiet leaders that I found. Hopefully, one of these people you can kind of look into them and kind of glean from them. So the first person I want to mention is, of course, Rosa Parks. She had the power of peaceful resistance. Rosa Parks wasn't loud or confrontational, yet her quiet act of courage, refusing to give up her seat, sparked a nationwide movement. She led through dignity, restraint, and faith, showing that strength doesn't always shout. Sometimes it simply just stands or sits. So, as I think back into what I know about Rosa Parks and some of her pictures and photos and clips of seeing her, she always had this quiet demeanor, and I can imagine just having a long day at work, ready to get home, sitting on the bus, not trying to, cause a lot of rah rah, whoop de woo, and just being fed up, with the situation. And I loved how her quiet, peaceful resistance was able to land her a permanent place in history. So I just felt like, yes, this is definitely a quiet leader. I definitely can see how her being who she is and just the temperament that she has really resonated with people. The next person I have is Coretta Scott King. She was graceful in her leadership through legacy. After Dr. King's passing, Coretta Scott King led not from a podium of power, but from a posture of peace. Her leadership was marked by quiet resolve, the kind that moves mountains without raising its voice. Through unwavering faith and grateful determination, she carried forward the dream of justice and nonviolence. The King Center stands to this day as a testament of her steadfast spirit, built not by force, but by conviction and compassion. Coretta's life reminds us that true strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it speaks softly and still changes the world. Now, same thing, when I look at Coretta Scott King, I can see how she supported her family, she supported her husband through these times of civil unrest. And now with the King Center, I believe it's in Atlanta, Georgia, it kind of carries on the legacy of her husband and his nonviolent activism, right? So I can see her moving from the background and moving to the forefront and continuing on her husband's legacy. That can be true for quiet people too. We may start off in a very reserved state as a quiet leader, but after you attach purpose to that thing, right? And whatever you're leading, if you attach purpose, if you attach actual interest in that thing, it can really change and transform your leadership into something more visible, right? And in that visibility, you can still be yourself and show that humility. You can still show that humbleness and that conserved spirit. But again, that just adds to the rapport that people see from you. It gains you a lot of respect once they see that you can, navigate leadership in such a way. The next person I want to talk about is Maya Angelou, and she led through words. Maya Angelou led not with commands, but with conviction. Her pen becoming her platform through poetry, her unshakable presence embodied a calm authority that spoke directly to the soul. Her words carried the kind of truth that didn't need to shout to be heard. Maya showed the world that through storytelling itself, that's leadership. The art of shaping hearts, healing wounds, and shifting culture with grace and courage can be done through quietness. She said, I come as one, but I stand as 10,000. Now, this person right here, you can see how her quietness, her quaintness still lives on and speaks even now. I did read that she went a couple of years not talking at all. There was a traumatic experience that happened within her life, and she spoke up about it when she was young. And after that, her words kind of scared her. She felt like her voice and her words were a weapon. So I believe she spoke to her brother a little bit during those years, but not a lot of people at all. During those years, she was learning, she was reading, she was writing, she was developing her craft and storytelling to where when she actually did come forth and speak, everybody listened. And like I said, they're still listening to this day. The last person I want to talk about is my Nana, Lessie Octavia Gandy, the matriarch who led in stillness. As the matriarch of a large family, she had 13 children, more than 20 grandchildren, and now she even has great grands. She led not through volume, but through presence. Her leadership was rooted in faith, expressed in the stillness of prayer, and proven in the peace she carried. She embodied the strength of a Proverbs 31 woman, steady, wise, and deeply devoted. My Nana's influence wasn't loud or commanding. It was the kind that shaped lives quietly through her calm spirit, her patience, and her words that lingered until they blossomed into reality. She was a reminder that true leadership doesn't always need to be seen or heard, but it can be felt. Now, her leadership style is definitely something that I carry with me to this day because she impacted so many lives. She did so much for other people and she always led people back to prayer. What I love most about her was she encouraged people and you would never even know that they had a conversation. She's the type, she'll call you on the phone, she'll speak life into you, and you can see that she would change your mood just like that because of how connected she was to the Lord and how much she leaned on God to really make a change. She pushed that on other people. So each of these leaders show that you can be soft-spoken and still shape the world. Quiet leadership isn't about silence, it's about substance. So I want you to take a few moments to notice the quiet leaders around you, the ones who guide with grace, not noise. And if that's you, remember, your calm is powerful, your presence is leadership. So I hope you enjoyed this episode today. I hope this encourages you to get out there and lead, although you're quiet. There is so much for us to do. Again, thank you for spending a few quiet moments with me. I want to offer you this song that fits perfectly with this episode. It's called Be Still by Travis Green. If this episode spoke to you, make sure you follow me on social media, subscribe on YouTube, and of course, you can find She's Too Quiet wherever podcasts are found. Don't forget to do two things: that's love God and love people. This is for the soft-spoken and deeply felt. Until next time, deuces.